Okay, Joe, we'll start down here on the left.
Hi, Dave. Any update on Justin Turner?
Justin is here getting treatment as we speak. I don't anticipate him doing much baseball activity, but feels better than he did yesterday. And so my expectation is he'll be in the lineup tomorrow.
Claudia?
Dave, I'm just curious, with the amount of work you have put on the starting pitchers, are your relievers open to pitch more innings?
Am I what, Claudia?
Your relievers a little more open to pitch a little more?
Well, I think with Walker being on extra rest, I think to have him, to push him, go deeper is certainly a very good option. As far as game 4, the plan is, depending on how Julio feels today, still got to win 2 or 3 at home to keep this thing going. So whether it's game 4, game 5, but our relievers have pitched. I just think for me, with the off day today, whoever gets us the outs, Claudia, I think that that's kind of the where we're at right now.
The front here on the left.
Dave, after 2 games that were very, very winnable, you know the team's back. You got a little clearance down, a chance to step back. What's the mindset of the squad right now? You've been here before against this same team.
I think for us is we're back home. We expect to win game 3. And I think that for us, we've got Walker going tomorrow, and we're going to do everything we can to get back in this series.
Okay, Mike on the right.
Dave, following up on Justin Turner, it seems like he's still dealing with a hamstring, has a neck stinger, and then he gets drilled in the elbow. To what degree is he sort of compromised in this last week or 2?
Yeah, I think that with all that he's gone through, it certainly hasn't been easy, and it's been certainly a grind. But I think that he's just so mentally tough to kind of get through it all, to be present, and to put his best foot forth in a particular game. So, last night's game, like I talked about, I just didn't think he was capable. But I think that kind of layering everything in the hamstring, the hit by pitches, the neck, I think he'll be in a really good spot to help us win the ball game tomorrow.
Okay, here on the left.
Hey, Dave, so with Julio, you don't know if it's going to be game 4 or game 5 yet?
There's going to be a bullpen game 4, game 5. So we know that. We knew that going in. So now it's what puts Julio in the best chance to be most effective. And that's kind of knowing that Max is going to start game 6.
And I'm guessing it just kind of depends on what happens tomorrow in terms of how long
Absolutely,
Walker goes.
absolutely.
Behind Bill.
Yeah, Dave, I'm going to poke the bear a little bit today. Going into the postseason, you said that this was the best bullpen you've ever taken into the postseason,
Yep.
or a postseason. Why have you felt it necessary then to use starters in relief roles?
So you're just talking about Julio yesterday?
Max in game 5 as well.
Well, I mean, I think that it's what we absolutely have a great bullpen. But I think that in the particular case with Max, and talking through it with all of our guys, if we want to go back to game 5, we felt that that was the best chance to finish that game. And it was a leverage situation, and we felt good about winning that game to get to the next round. As far as Julio, just appreciating that it's a 7-game series, and him being a viable option, being open, talking about it, and appreciating that he's done it before. He's not the young rookie that I think people can't get past. That, looking at 3 arms, 3 innings to cover, he was in that mix. And so I just felt that that was the best thing, and not compromising Julio's next start. And I don't think it's a slight on our bullpen. I don't, especially in a long series.
And
In the back? I'm
you
sorry.
also said, I'm sorry, John. You also said that whenever you do this with a Scherzer or Julio, there's a cost or a potential cost. Do you feel that you have had to pay a cost in these?
Absolutely,
first
but
two
we
games?
just absolutely, certainly. But if we didn't go with Max, we might not be having this conversation right now. So I think that there's certainly a cost, absolutely. I don't think us using Max in Game 5 is a reason we're down 2-0 right now in this series. We planned on a bullpen game, either Game 4 or Game 5 this series. So I don't think that using Julio in Game 1 or 2 changed that. So I don't see the cost. And again, we had to get to a point where we were at to win that game, to get to this point and sort of figure it out. And things just can't be scripted. You've got to kind of sometimes go off script to what I feel is the best chance to win a game, let alone a particular series.
And the perception in a lot of places out there now is that you're, and I don't mean you, but the collective you, overthink this and almost outsmart yourselves with the way you use the pitching in the postseason. How would you answer that?
You know, I think so. I think that's certainly something that's alive as far as that thought. It's something that we've kind of had to deal with, or all year, every year, as far as kind of the way we go about how we manage a roster, how we go about playing games and using pitchers and things like that. So it's certainly bleeding in and more magnified in the postseason, which I absolutely understand. But I just don't think that, again, like it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. A decision that doesn't work out doesn't mean it's the wrong decision. So I do know that everyone in that clubhouse believes that we're going about it the right way and no one is compromised. And so I think for us, that's the most important thing.
Just lastly, are we guilty of overthinking this by hashing out all the pitching decisions when you're 2 hits with runners in scoring position away from leading this 2-0? Is that situational hitting really the problem?
I think that it's kind of where, whether it's a fan, whether it's the organization itself, whether it's the media, you kind of look at what you want to see as far as, in this small scope where we're at right now as the Dodgers, down 2-0. I think it's a combo that we can get better at. I think that the processes that we go through, the players that we have, I believe in. I believe we're going to win this series. I believe we're going to win tomorrow. Bill, I think that's the great thing about baseball, man. It's like, it opens things up for kind of second guessing. It's not basketball. It's not a missed shot. It's not football, a play that wasn't executed. It's a lot of different variables that you can kind of think through, second guess. So we think through a lot. There's things that we know about our players that we just don't want to share because I think it's just not smart. That also lead to the decisions that we make that unfairly, that fans and media just don't know and have to have their own opinions and thoughts, which, to be fair, you can only make the decisions or the opinions that you have the information. So I guess that's what I got on that. Hopefully I answered some of your question. It was long-winded, I'm sorry.
Straight in the back in the middle.
Dave, now that you're a few more days removed from that Giant series, looking back, Game 5, flying across the country to Atlanta, playing those 2 games, how drained, exhausted do you think your team was, and how much do you think they needed to reset?
It was, Jorge, it was a lot. Certainly last year, being in one spot, not having to travel, and the travel day was essentially an off day that you can kind of reset. But no excuses. Whether we got to make pitches when we need to make pitches, we need to make plays defensively, or we need to get hits when we need to get hits. So in that particular moment, those moments, the travel, the fatigue has nothing to do with the outcome. And there's not a player in there that will say that. So, but to your point, it's tough, but it's tough on everyone.
Down here in the middle.
Hey Dave, just to go back to the runners in scoring position, like how have you felt about like the quality of the bats in those sort of situations, less so the results, obviously a small sample.
Not very good. I think I don't need numbers to know what I see, and you know, if we're going to chase, then there's no reason for them to throw the ball in the strike zone. So I think that we've got to kind of lock in more in the strike zone, and when we do that, you know, we'll have more success.
Would you say that's the biggest difference in this year's run so far compared to last year?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then with Walker, have you been able to check in sort of just how he's feeling bouncing back off of his first start on short rest?
He's feeling great. He's got the extra rest, and he's out there throwing right now, and he feels great. He'll be ready to go.
Thanks.
You're on the right, Mike.
Dave, though 0-2 is a tough spot. You feel like if you can get this thing back to Atlanta with Max and Walker on extra and regular rest, would you like your chances there?
I do. I do. I think that, you know, for us, it really hasn't been about preventing runs. I mean, to be quite honest. So I think that Walker and the guys behind him tomorrow, we're going to prevent runs, and we're going to score more than they will. And I think we're going to do that in Game 4. And so, yeah, we're going to go back to Atlanta, and we'll have Max ready for Game 6. But right now, you know, our focus just has to be tomorrow night and winning tomorrow, and whatever that takes. And we'll deal with Game 4 then.
Isn't it? You want one more? Okay. Jorge, one more.
Dave, have you talked to Julio today? You know, how is he feeling?
I haven't seen him yet. I'm expecting him to come in. So, yeah, I'm expecting to come in and just talking to him and get the trainer's sort of insight. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate him and trust him and respect him. But, you know, he's a man. You know, he's a star player. So I just think, and I said this earlier, Jorge, it's like he's not that 19-year-old rookie anymore. That, you know, I think that sometimes I get that in my head that he's still this young guy. He's a seasoned veteran. So whatever he feels today will impact the decision on Game 4 or Game 5, and he'll drive that.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, guys.